Let us understand the third topic in the fourth unit of Paper 1, Philosophical Perspectives of Education, of Bachelor of Education. And this third topic deals with the emergence of various disciplinary areas and schema, language, mathematics, science, and social science. Let us know the details of this emergence of various disciplinary areas. First of all, let us understand that an academic discipline is a branch of knowledge. Most of the academic disciplines emerged during the 19th century, though their roots are found in ancient knowledges. As the 20th century approached, the designations of academic disciplines were gradually adopted by other countries and became accepted as conventional subjects. These designations differ among various countries. Now, first of all, let us understand the emergence of language as a discipline, how this language has emerged as a discipline to be studied by the students in the schools and colleges. The emergence of language in the human species has been subject of speculation for several centuries. The origin of language can be traced back to ancient times when human beings started to live in the societies. From ancient times, language has evolved into various precise form of present day after passing through many changes. This language has emerged after over some thousands of years, even in human societies. At the beginning, people used to make sounds and they used to yell out and they used to make some of the different sounds at different circumstances. Slowly, these sounds were codified by linguists in ancient times, and gradually, these sounds which are made at different points of time were codified, and slowly the language has been emerged as a uh, medium of communication among the primitive societies. See, let us see the generative view of language according to Noam Chomsky, a Jewish American linguist. He asserted that language is mostly an innate faculty that is largely genetically encoded. So that means this capacity to speak language is endowed by genes among the human beings. So there are certain specific genes that are making us to learn the language and speak out the language. And when this Noam Chomsky has taken a generative view, other functionalists see it as a system that is largely cultural and learned through social interaction. So, functionalistic linguistics say look at this language emergence, and they deduce that this language is largely cultural and learned through social interaction among the people. Now, linguistics is we all know that linguistics is the study of language, and there are three approaches and three aspects to this study. They are first one is language form, second one is the language meaning, and third one is language in content. And the earliest activities in the description of language have been attributed to the 6th century BC. An Indian grammarian called Panini, who was an early student of linguistics and wrote a formal description with his analysis of Sanskrit in Ashtadhyayi. And after that, several efforts were also made by other linguists across the world, particularly in ancient Greece. In Athens of Greece, language evolved in the form of grammar in the 4th century AD. Romans also had given thrust upon a grammar encompassing all dimensions of language. efforts have been made across the world by different civilizations. And next, after the efforts of Romans, there are several other linguists who have codified the language in their civilizations. And first, let us understand how the language emerges. So, linguistic analyzes human language as a system for relating sounds and meaning. Grammar is a system of rules which, given the form of utterances in a given language, it encompasses both sound and meaning, and it includes first phonology, which deals with how sounds and gestures function together. And second one is the morphology, and which deals with the formation and composition of words. And third one is syntax, that deals with the formation and composition of phrases and sentences from the words. This is how the language is built up. And from this methodology, each and every language across the world, with respect to their geographical requirements and needs, and with respect to the human needs, they have built up their own language, and that's how we have almost 7,000 languages across the world. But from among the 7,000 languages, most of the languages are only spoken language. They don't have any script, and only few thousands of languages are only having the script. Even in India also, there are more than 200 languages. From among them, only few are having scripts, and uh, almost 22 languages were officially announced in the 8th schedule of Constitution of India. And these languages are having scripts, and the government of India brought out three language formula that mother tongue or regional language has to be studied by the children in the school, and second language has to be studied, uh, and the national language, and third language has to be studied, one in an international language, so that the students will develop language ability in at least three languages by the end of the school leaving. Now let us understand the emergence of mathematics as a discipline. And mathematics is the study of topics such as quantity, structure, space, and change. Mathematics is concerned with numbers, data, quantity, structure, space, models, and change. And throughout the history, humans have faced the need to measure and communicate about time, quantity, and distance. This is their daily need. As a field of study, it includes conceptual understanding and study about numbers, operations, and theorems. Mathematics is a broad and deep discipline that is continuing to grow in breadth and depth. Even today, also, several mathematicians are adding a number of theories and trying to solve very difficult theories which were propounded by earlier mathematicians. Now, let us see how the mathematics has emerged as a discipline through the ages. And first of all, Indian mathematics has its roots in Vedic literature between 1000 BC and 1800 AD. See, various treatises on mathematics were authored by Indian mathematicians, in which were set forth for the first time the concept of zero, numerical system, techniques of algebra and algorithm, square root and cube root. Mathematicians such as Aryabhatta, Brahmagupta, Mahavira, Bhaskara too, etc., are classical Indian mathematicians, and their contribution in mathematics made them immortal. And parallel to the Indian mathematical development, different parts of the world also have been developing the mathematics as a discipline of study. Mathematics as a formal area of teaching and learning was developed about 5,000 years ago by the Sumerians. However, the roots of mathematics go back much more than 5,000 years. But from 5,000 years ago, the mathematics is as a subject is being taught to the learners. The study of mathematics as a demonstrative discipline began in the 6th century BC with the Pythagoras, who coined the term mathematics from the ancient Greek term mathema, which means subject of instruction. Like that, Greek mathematicians greatly refined mathematical proofs, and whereas the ancient Romans used applied mathematics in land surveying, structural engineering, mechanical engineering, bookkeeping, creation of lunar and solar calendars, and even arts and crafts. So, mathematical concepts such as spatial relationships, shapes, forms, they extensively are helpful in arts and crafts. And parallel to this, even Chinese also developed mathematics, and Chinese first used negative numbers. The Hindu Arabic number system and the rules for the use of its operations in use throughout the world today evolved over the course of the first millennium AD. So that means during the first 1,000 years of after before Christ, uh, in India and were transmitted to the Western world. And this Indo-European numerical system was also transported to Western world. Many Greek and Arabic texts on mathematics were translated into Latin from the 12th century onwards. See, the mathematics has gone from Indo-Arabic area region to European region. And from 12th century onwards, they have started working on mathematics, and they also further developed the mathematics in medieval Europe. And during the Renaissance, the development of mathematics and accounting were intertwined. Engineers and architects of that time used mathematics for their works. Particularly, most of the Europeans have used the mathematical concepts in the architecture constructions. And several engineers were also experimented with the mathematical operations to bring out their innovations. And later in the 17th, 18th, and 19th and 20th century, mathematics saw unprecedented increase, starting with Johannes Kepler, Galileo, Napier, and Leibniz to G.H. Hardy and Srinivas Ramanujan. These people have developed mathematics in leaps and bounds, and particularly Indian mathematician Srinivas Ramanujan has solved several difficult mathematical theorems, and he has become a famous contributor of number theory. Then, in the present century, mathematics is considered as a distinct discipline having its relation to other branches of knowledge. Its application has become so extensive and intensive, particularly in engineering, technology, medicine, business, trade, commerce, banking, accounting, and computing, etc. And the forthcoming development in that information and communication technology, that is in artificial intelligence and machine learning, also mathematics is extensively going to be used. The discipline is explosively expanding ever larger. Thus, interdisciplinary is the current trend of mathematics as a subject of study at the school and college level. Now, gradually, the mathematics has become an interdisciplinary subject because if you take physics, if you take medicine, if you take commerce and business administration, in every field of the human life, the mathematics has its applications and uses. So that's the reason mathematics has made an integral part of the school curriculum. Now, let us understand the emergence of science as a discipline. We all know that science is a body of empirical, theoretical, and practical knowledge about the natural world produced by scientists who stressed observation, explanation, and prediction of real world phenomena. It occupies an important place in our society. Its evolution can be traced back to the period of Anaxima under 611 to 546 before Christ in Greece. And modern, of course, parallel to that in Indian soil also, several scientists like Sushruta and several other Nagarjunacharya, these kind of people have also developed science to its maximum stage. And modern system of scientific discipline is truly innovative when compared to the older science. And this recent developments in the science are more innovative when compared to the older science. And empiricism is the main method of inquiring the phenomena. This is extensively used to propound the scientific theories. Science as a distinct discipline in modern era emerged during 17th century. Francis Bacon provided the method of induction to gain scientific knowledge. It went on shaping the true characters of different branches of scientific knowledge, and different phenomena were observed, explained, and predicted for a future use. In the 19th century, science was accorded a space in the landscape of knowledge to influence other aspects of subject areas by the efforts of dozens of scientists. Thus, mathematics and science became the dominant studies during the second half of the 19th century, more particularly. In the 20th century, science was ramified into different branches: botany, zoology, physics, chemistry, astronomy, geology, ecology, medicine, etc. With the explosion of knowledge during the 20th century, a number of new scientific fields emerged, such as communication technologies, computer science, material science, bioinformatics, biotechnology, space technology. It is still on and leading to emergence of various applied branches of science. Scientists across the globe are busy in designing the new branches of science out of their rigorous research. In the 21st century, science is characterized by interdisciplinary, and different sciences are gaining momentum and all are interrelated and interdependent. Research is conducted on the interdisciplinary character of science. It contributed immensely to the development of scientific knowledge on various aspects such as internet, satellite communication, machine learning, robotics, artificial intelligence, virtual reality, augmented reality, Internet of Things, geographical information system, GIS, etc. So, scientific applications have penetrated into every walk of life, and there is no field without the intervention of the scientific inventions and scientific inquiry. And so far, we have understood the emergence of languages, maths, and science. Now, let us understand how the emergence of social science as a discipline took place. The discipline of social science deals with the human behavior in its social and cultural aspects. Precisely, the history of the social sciences began most intentionally in the early 19th century with the positivist philosophy of science, particularly after the propounding of positivity philosophy by Auguste Comte. Slowly, the social sciences have taken a new shape. Even the social scientists are also used the scientific methods which were earlier used by the physical scientists. Around the start of the 20th century, the discipline of social sciences adopted a quantitative methodology. See, it is very difficult to use quantitative methodology in social science, but social scientists have started using the quantitative methodology in understanding various aspects of this discipline. Since the mid of the 20th century, the term social sciences are referred to all those disciplines, including sociology, which analyze society. Even social sciences are also having different derivatives and different applications as the society is becoming more and more complex. The interdisciplinary and cross-disciplinary nature of scientific inquiry into human behavior and social and environmental factors affecting it made many of the natural sciences interested in some aspects of social science methodology. As a result, emerging disciplines like social medicine, sociobiology, neuropsychology, bioeconomics, sociology, and history of science. These are the different derivatives of the social sciences in the recent past, and still it is emerging into and permeating into different works of life, and in near future so many other social science branches may be emerging, and we are as teachers need to be in touch with the latest developments in this area also. Now let us understand the schema of various discipline areas, how we are going to frame the subject disciplines to have a suitable fit into the school curriculum. First, let us understand what do you mean by schema. Schema is a mental structure of preconceived ideas representing the ideas of the world. It is a framework or a system of working or perceiving a new piece of information. So it is a mental structure of preconceived ideas about a particular subject, and it is a framework or a system of working, perceiving a new piece of information. And in the curricular process, different schemata are being developed in each curricular area, cutting across many subject disciplines to help the teacher to bring certain definable changes in the behavior of learners. Moreover, it helps to organize knowledge, information, etc., following psychological principles. So, particularly, these curricular areas are cutting through many subject disciplines. But unless and until we design certain schema or a framework of disciplinary knowledges, students may not understand the correlation among these subjects. So that's the reason we need to design the curriculum by following a certain schema. And while schema in respect of a particular curricular area are developed, it becomes a central point to develop, modify, or adapt new information to suit to the needs of the students at a definite stage of school life. So that means the students vary in their understanding levels and age levels. See, for primary sections, a certain schema of discipline knowledges have to be framed, and for middle school level, certain schema of different disciplines have to be framed. For higher secondary, certain schema of different disciplines have to be framed. So that's why curriculum designers lend support to the inclusion of more sophisticated content into the basic schemata in a definite order to help the development of mental faculties. See, these many disciplines have to be uh, designed such that understanding one subject facilitates understanding the other subject. So, if we really design the curricular inputs in this manner, students not only they find the utility of subject learning one subject, but also They try to extrapolate the knowledge of one subject while learning the other subject. In the wake of the recommendations of the Ishpal Committee as early as 1993, the information and concept load in the textbook need to be reduced and efforts to be made to develop the intellectual abilities of children to analyze socio-political and economic realities. So, in the name of providing curricular aspects in the school curriculum, we are not supposed to increase the load of the curricular subjects. The Professor Yashpal Committee in 1993 has advised that without increasing the load of the curriculum, students must be in a position to learn the subjects by integrating them and by correlating them and by relating the subject knowledge into their real life situations. That's how, within less time, the students will be acquiring maximum knowledge by this kind of integration and interrelation and collaboration of the subjects. So that's how we have to frame the schema of various disciplinary areas. And after Ishpal Committee, the National Curriculum Framework 2005 has made concrete recommendations for reforming different curricular areas in a subject. For example, it has called for a greater focus on the main stream issues of equity and social justice, equality, and dignity with a thrust upon gender issues. That means NCF 2005 has made certain recommendations